Welcome back to the show, everybody. Listen to these headlines. We got flare and uphold news for you today. Kevin OLeary is in the crypto space and going to tell us whether crypto is going to go away or not. John Deaton calls for an independent investigation based on the information we already know publicly about what's transpired for Ethereum and that unique advantage they've gotten. We also have some case update news for you for the SEC and Ripple. You're going to want all of that. How about Ripple swell? Yeah, how about that? And how about Ripple's focus on what they're getting done? We're also going to talk about XRP and the ledger and what's going on with that, because that's two separate entities, as we all know. We're also going to have to go into the idea of the Department of Justice, Congress, and what about the U.S. Treasury and that verbiage in the language for Congress and the U.S. infrastructure bill. We need to touch back on that, because you know why? Because it's not just about Congress and getting that verbiage right. It's about the fact that crypto is in the .com era phase. That's where we are. And somebody needs to roll that beautiful intro. Here we go.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove, and everything that we're talking about here today. $2.294 trillion crypto market cap this morning. Bitcoin is over $57,000 right now. Ethereum over $3,400. Cardano at $2.10. XRP at 108 this morning. Taking a 5% breath is what we're seeing over the 24-hour period here. But you know what? XRP was pushing all weekend. Yeah, running neck and neck there, because, you know, Bitcoin is still leading the crypto space. Don't believe it. It's still true, right? And until we see, and that's how early we are still in this space. We understand that XRP has an enormous amount of utility, but we haven't seen the large financial institutions, central banks, and all of that come off the sideline and begin using it yet, because truthfully, I believe you can't legislate what you haven't defined. And there is a moment that will be coming, I do believe, whether it's through this court case or whether it's through the intervention of the U.S. Treasury and FSOC or some entity of that nature coming into play. I do believe we will see a moment like that that will eventually provide the clarity we need and allow these large institutions to begin exercising that utility of XRP and the ledger. And we'll see a decoupling at a point. And that is when we know we will be in a moment that we've never, ever witnessed before. But you know what? Shout out to Bitcoin, because it is leading the pack and it does tend to bring everything with it. So until then, on we go. All right, so let's take a look at the range of XRP right now. We see we are ranging between 107.26 and 116.56. So we know we pulled back just a bit there. We'll keep an eye on it. One thing we do know is that when it comes to Link 2, and I told you guys about this yesterday, and look, that's how quick it goes. Ripple, gone. Look right here. Uphold, gone. Vero Bank, gone. That was from the other day. Zipline, gone. You know, there are so many great products on this platform, and I have to tell you, this is the key moment to watch out for. It is really 8 a.m. Pacific time or 11 a.m. Eastern time when they relist these products, and I would keep an eye out, because like I said, they don't last long. Here's another thing that you can take comfort into. If you are accredited, you can understand that there is no confusion about how this space is regulated for private equity. Because the truth is, they do make private investing made simple at Link 2. And the reality here is that the rules are already in place. And there is a lot of people that invest out here that tell me all the time that that is one of the many comforts, is to be able to invest in the companies behind the technology and know that the rules to the road for regulation are already well in place, because it is a speculative industry or market or space to be in when it comes to crypto. But I do believe we're quickly moving to a place where all of that is going to get sussed out to a great degree. Listen to the positive words of Kevin OLeary from Shark Tank tell you what's going on with crypto.
Crypto is not going away.
Get him, Kevin.
That's not going to happen. We are so early into crypto. I think the potential of this sector is trillions of dollars.
Well said, Kevin. Yeah. And I think XRP is going to be a big part of all of that, not financial advice. Institutional investors are continuing to pile into Bitcoin despite prices pushing up to a 5-month high. What's that tell you? I know what it's telling me at my house, but what's that telling you? Everybody has to ask these questions, right? Is that the institutional investors are piling in. Look, I do believe that the moment before we move into full regulation, the moment before we move into, a handful of assets really proving out their own utility and a decoupling taking place, and Bitcoin has its own progress and path, and Ethereum has its own progress and path, and XRP as well, and a handful of others, right? Because they actually have use case. That is an exciting moment to me, that they define their self and their own price based on their own utility, as we talked about a second ago. But to that point, when you see the institutional investors moving in, this is moving beyond speculation and moving now into a hedge for them. And that's what I'm seeing here. And that is enormous shift in investors' mindset. All right, so looking right here, this quick clip, shout out to Tony for a great interview and sit down with John Deaton here, who lays it down in under a minute, what he thinks needs to happen. Check it out.
Look what the XRP community has uncovered with publicly available data and information and videos and Google. Imagine the power of subpoena, right? Imagine the subpoena power, and you can get emails and text messages and phone records and things of that nature. And as I've said to Charlie, and I'll say it again, and I'll say it on national TV every time I get a chance, I'm not saying anyone broke the law, right? Something could be legal, doesn't make it right. Right? That doesn't mean that's how we create policy in the United States of America, right? Even if it is legal, but there is enough, Tony, there's enough to have an independent investigation into it. Look what...
And there you go right there. And I completely align with that thought. It doesn't mean that anything illegal happened, but it's certainly enough information to warrant an independent investigation. Now, let's move to the actual SEC Ripple case itself. Right here from Hall of Famer Crypto Wolf, it says Ripple will soon disclose their expert witnesses in the XRP lawsuit. Let's take a look at this article, because there's a few things in here I want us to see. One is that fact, which the expert discovery deadline is November 12th right here. So attorney John Deaton, who is representing XRP holders in the SEC Ripple lawsuit, explained what is happening behind the scenes. And what he talks about here, he would expect that David Schwartz would be one of their expert witnesses. He further speculated that Ripple might also onboard independent industry expert in blockchain and decentralization. In the last hearing, XRP holders were granted amicus curiae, which is making John Deaton a friend of the court status, by the U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres. And it says this essentially means the XRP holders are not the party to the case, but have a bearing on the issue that surround the case. So now, if the judge, Sarah Netburn or Annalisa Torres, want to ask a question towards John Deaton to get some clarity, he can submit information there as a friend to the court on behalf of whatever it is she's looking to learn or ascertain. So really exciting stuff. She's going to give a decision whether or not the documents that the SEC are claiming are privileged or in fact privileged. And Ripple doesn't get them, or she's going to declare that they are not privileged and Ripple will get them. Ripple does believe that they found enough information in an email chain that really opens up the notion about what was going on with the dialogue prior to the Hinman letter that could be very, very exculpatory for Ripple in immediate dismissal or immediate settlement, these kinds of things. So we'll have to see what comes of those in-camera review of those documents. Now, the thing I want to show here is that John Deaton put out a thread that I covered yesterday or the day before, and it is an incredible timeline showing the things that transpired prior to the William Hinman letter and that decision that took place, which was supposed to be his personal opinion, then adopted by the agency as their actual guidance, which is a problem in itself. But here is a little part of that thread that really is troublesome to this case. Lubin claims to know the SEC is not going to find any other tokens than Bitcoin and Ethereum to be decentralized, dropping Hinman's name as source of information. January 19, Coinbase meets with the SEC and informs them that they have run XRP through their securities framework. Coinbase and its lawyers conclude XRP is not a security and inform the SEC it plans to list XRP, but wants to make sure it's not running afoul of U.S. securities law. The SEC does not state it believes XRP to be a security. On February 28, 2019, Coinbase lists XRP for trading. You could see the kind of really dereliction of duty at that point from the SEC, and they should be forced to answer that inaction on their behalf as a regulator to that market and that question. Looking right here, this is another powerful moment because we're getting ready to shift gears and talk about the regulation that's coming, and it is coming. And what it will look like, really no one knows, but I think we got an idea what Gary Gensler wants it to look like. But here's a really impactful tweet right here that shows us what is really to come in the next year or two. Research Institute predicts nearly 45% of customers will use the emerging payment method within the next 1 to 2 years due to growing need for cross-border payments, in addition to concerns about high transaction fees. You know, this goes in line with what we discussed yesterday about Kathy Wood talking about the fact that, you know, the financial system and the banking system understands that this technology is going to be extremely disruptive. And there is a portion of that industry that is fighting this tech, but it is going to come whether they like it or not. And guess what else is coming with it? It is regulation. This is another reminder that the everything crackdown is coming. It is coming. One of the disturbing things about watching Gary Gensler talk about how he feels that the majority of the space to him is securities, stable coins included. And I get why he wants to do that. I do. I understand why he wants to do that. He feels there's less risk if they tuck these assets in the securities framework in regulation. This way, they know already that they have the comfort that the regulatory framework for securities laws are well in place, right? And if they can tuck the majority of this market in that space, they really lessen the risk of some major collapse economically in this new asset class because they wouldn't have to write a complete new rule book for it. That's pretty much the approach here. But the real thing that gets me about this is that I see no pushback from the CFTC to claim their ground that the SEC is looking to take over. I see no real pushback from the Department of Justice or the Treasury. Well, actually, we're going to get into the Treasury in a second because I think the Treasury is going to have a hand in this. But I see no real pushback from Congress itself other than a small handful of really representatives like Warren Davidson, Tom Emmer, you know, Senator Toomey, and a few others. And I mean a few that really understand what's at stake here. And that's what really concerns me. And you have to wonder, is it because the majority of Congress really is giving the blessing to Gary Gensler to do this? Is the CFTC actually complicit with Gary Gensler? Because he has mentioned that the two of them, Benham, I believe it is now at the CFTC chair position, and him have a plan to go forward, he said, even if Congress doesn't act. So there is compliance there between the two of them, or at least alignment. Now, we do know that the Department of Justice now has its own crypto division, so there's going to be a crackdown on that side. Let me give you just this little piece here. It says, either way, The Justice Department is now looking to create this division during a time when the U.S. appears hell-bent on regulating crypto and making sure there are no loopholes that illicit individuals can take advantage. We understand that part. We want that part, right? One such method involves invoking sanctions on exchanges that somehow part of the illegal transfers. These typically involve stolen or illicit received funds. I'm cool with that too. We don't want to see exchanges participating in illicit activity, and we want to make sure that they can be, retrieved if such. So it says, however, it does appear that the efforts from the Justice Department stem largely from the attack on the Colonial Pipeline that happened earlier this year. What did I say many times on this channel? The narrative is that we saw the GameStop issue, that retail can use social platforms to manipulate the trading markets. We saw the Colonial Pipeline, right? The antiquated, vulnerable system, market infrastructure that it currently exists cannot withstand what the new tech and hackers and bad actors can do to us. Also the largest meat producer, also one of the largest IT companies in the world hacked, right? And this is really pointing to new market infrastructure using blockchain and crypto in some instances. And I do believe personally, not financial advice, XRP and the ledger will serve a very, very prominent role in that regard. Looking right here, Wyoming Senator Cynthia Loomis said the Treasury Department may be more of a threat to innovation in blockchain and cryptocurrencies in the United States than the SEC. Well, hell, that's one hell of a comment, Cynthia. Let's take a look at this part. It says Ted Cruz claimed that there are not 5 members of the U.S. Senate who could tell you what Bitcoin is. That's part of the problem right there. But Loomis said she observed enough understanding following the debate over the infrastructure that the language on the crypto was likely to be amended in the House version of the bill. Congress is currently struggling to pass long-term legislation surrounding infrastructure. Again, infrastructure. That's why crypto is in the U.S. infrastructure bill, because I firmly believe we're going to find out that they will be adopting in these major sectors of the economy new market infrastructure involving blockchain. And I believe at some point in some areas, the XRP ledger and obviously the token at some point as well. It says budget reconciliation and debt ceiling. It says I've worked with members of both parties who didn't have any interest in Bitcoin and digital assets, and now we know each other, and now we talk regularly about this, Loomis said. It says, she says, I do think that will be some changes to the language, but it's the beginning to show a pattern in my mind by the Treasury Department, the IRS, that we're really going to have to work on keeping the heavy hand of government at bay. Well, this is Hugo Filion, who is going to be on joining Uphold, it says here, and Robin Connell for a live webinar on Songbird, Flare, and Flight. You can register below and join them at 5 p.m. GMT time to hear the latest on Songbird. So there you have that. Make sure you get that and tune in. And I'd love to see some clarity there with the other exchanges like Coinbase for honoring the Songbird airdrop as well. Looking right here, don't forget about Ripple Swell. It's just a 1-minute teaser. I don't need to play it for you, but don't forget about Ripple Swell. Don't forget about Ripple's focus, okay? Because Ripple's always focused on making things happen, and the blockchain company Ripple has announced partnership with Lincoln-based financial services company Nelnet. As a part of the deal, it will jointly invest $44 million into the company's renewable energy business division. How about that one? That's not exactly chump change, $44 million. Damn. You know, and to see them constantly expanding into different areas. This is outside the financial sector. This is really, really about reducing that carbon footprint using the power of the ability of Ripple's software, blockchain, and I'm sure the access to the XRP ledger as well. So looking right here, this is another powerful moment too. This is from XRP Labs here. And we see proudly showing XPOP, proof of payments, as presented by Richard at the Apex Developer Summit. In case you've forgotten, XPOP generates an animated QR code containing everything needed for offline XRP ledger transaction, proof vending, and casinos. Well, we need to get Daniel from Casino Coin on here and start having a conversation about how this could benefit him and his company. This is extremely exciting that you could use the XRP ledger or QR code and be offline from the internet to get the transaction done. I got to tell you, this is some of the smartest people in the world working on this tech. It's so incredible. So before we get out of here, I want to give you this right here. This is, in fact, Raoul Pal, and he lays down in a very quick clip, and shout out to Kevin Cage for the clip that he apparently edited here so you could have it and listen to what he says about where we're going, because we really are in the .com era for crypto. We really are in that phase, and this is what it looks like. And yes, it has growing pains because we don't have complete regulation yet, but we'll get there. And this just may be what it looks like when we do. Here you go.
It was growing at 63% a year, and there was 140 million users of the internet. In 2021, there are 140 million crypto users, and it's growing at 113% a year. Jesus. Double the speed. Then everybody who takes this opportunity will probably have the biggest opportunity in history.
Think of that for a moment. That's how early we are. Don't give up.
Internet from 1990 to 2000 grew at 63% a year. That was the fastest adoption of any technology in all recorded history. Prior to that, mobile phones was the other one. But what happens is the internet technology and the mobile phone technology allows for these networks to be built. And once that network's in place, it's faster to build the next network. So in India, for example, they've just basically given out free data to every mobile phone in India. So guess what? Data usage is the highest in the world. And so their internet scaling becomes faster. So the internet was huge, as we all know, and it remains huge. So at 63% a year, it then flattened out over time as more and more people got adopted. So at 1997, it was growing at 63% a year, and there was 140 million users of the internet. In 2021, there are 140 million crypto users, and it's growing at 113% a year. Jesus. Double the speed. Now, this is where humans struggle. Linear numbers and exponential numbers. Because it's exponential, it means that growing at 113% a year, we're going to go from 140 million people to 1 billion people by 2024.
Wow.
I mean, so when you go back and how you introduced all of this, so if you know that something is being adopted at this speed and it's a network of money at its core, and you can buy an infinitesimal fraction of it, so everybody can buy 10% of their net worth, then everybody who takes this opportunity will probably have the biggest opportunity in history. It was growing at 60.
How about that? And I mean, those are some powerful numbers and powerful thoughts. Really, really respect Raoul Pal and his macro vision of this space. The thought that there could be 1 billion people in here in less than a car loan in 36 months. Think of it for a moment. That's going to do it for me. Make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. Share with somebody you know. This is not financial advice from me or anyone else. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section, ladies and gentlemen. There's great specials and deals on Ledger Nano, but you got to click the link. There's great special on hide your identity online with Pure VPN, 99-cent 7-day trial, but you got to click the link. There's great stuff to check out when you come to buying crypto that's tax-free. I trust capital. The only thing better than buying crypto is buying tax-free crypto. Don't believe me? Click the link. I'll catch all of you on the next one.